I guess, of course, in like a Hella deck, I guess you would discard a card. I'm assuming it would count as being discarded. And then you would also discard Zabu. So then both of those would be able to come back with Hella. If that is how that interaction works, which by the wording is, that's pretty insane. Hey everyone, ShadowDTV here, and we are coming at you with another Datamined look at some cards. So these are unreleased Marvel Snap cards. We've been doing this each week. We're getting kind of to the end of what we currently have found, but maybe we'll look into like some Datamined locations or something in the coming weeks. But let's get straight into it. Again, checking out some unreleased cards. So again, these can change before they are released into the game, but this is the information we have at the present time. So let's get straight into it. So first up, we have I don't even know how to pronounce that. Certa. I guess he's like a demon, something. I actually don't know that character in the Marvel universe. Have to look into that a little bit. So again, I'm seeing these cards for the first time. Haven't looked at them prior. No prior knowledge to what they do. So if you move the Human Torch to this location, this gets plus 10 power. It is a 5 energy cost and it's 0 power. So I guess playing this turn 5 is pretty late in the game, but thinking about it, if you play it and then turn 6 you play Heimdall and move Human Torch to the location, plus 10 is pretty cool. So it is very combo-y, so you have to, I guess, hit that combo. But if you do hit it, it's pretty good. Human Torch is going to double his power. This is going to get 10 power. Not bad, actually. Obviously, it's very, very niche. You're using it in a move deck. You're using it with Human Torch. So it's very, very specific. But I think it's quite a powerful ability. 5 cost 10 power, but of course you need to actually hit the combo. Probably give this a 3.5 out of 5, just because it's quite niche, and obviously you're not going to get it off every single game. But when you do get it off, I think you just automatically win that location. Next up, we have the Living Tribunal. Really cool artwork there. 6 cost, 6 energy cost, 4 power. At the end of the game, split your total power evenly among all locations. I actually really like the design of this card. I'm thinking of some use cases. If you can get some really big power at just one location, with things like Iron Man, Onslaught, just, really doubling up the power at that location. The Living Tribunal can then, I guess, spread it out across those locations. You could definitely play something like Magic to be able to play this after play a 6 cost card on turn 6, play this on turn 7, I guess. And then, if you can get to, 80 power at a location, split that up, 30 at each location, pretty cool. I actually really like the design of the card. It can throw a bit of a curveball at your opponent. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know how much use it will get. It'll be very niche. It'll really depend on the deck style, I guess. The thinking about like just getting one location as big as possible, and then using the Living Tribunal. I guess I'd give this. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, just because I can see like a decent use for it. Obviously, it's an interesting one. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 just because I think the ability is really cool. And I definitely think that this is a card that could win you games. Yeah, like for sure. Next up, we have Titania. This character's been featured recently in the new She-Hulk show. Spoiler alerts. Sorry about that. If you haven't watched the show, it's not really that big of a spoiler. But so one energy cost 5 power. When any card is played at this location, this card switches sides. Interesting card. So I guess you played at your location. Then if you play another card there, she goes to your opponent's side. But then if you play another card, it can come back. It's actually a really interesting card. I guess it could bounce back and forth throughout a match. I'm just trying to think, like, how would you ensure that it ends up on your side of the field? Like, if me and my opponent both play cards, I guess it only switches once. Okay, so you could definitely, I guess, try and force it to end up back on your side. 5 power for 1 cost pretty good, but I feel like if your opponent finds a way to keep it on their side, it could be pretty bad. So yeah, I think it's an interesting mechanic. I don't think there's any like crazy synergies or anything. Like it's not buffing move cards or anything. It's just like switching sides. And again, if it ends up on your opponent's side, it would feel pretty bad. But if you can get it to stay on your side, I mean, 5 power, 1 cost card's pretty cool. I'm going to give it like a 3 out of 5. I can't really see it being like super strong. It could be quite fun to play though. It could be quite a fun interaction, but I can't see it being like crazy broken or anything. So yeah, we'll give it a 3 out of 5. Uncle Ben, that's really cool. 1 power, 1 energy, 2 power. When this card is destroyed, add Spider-Man to your hand. Interesting ability, I guess. It's kind of cool how they're using like support characters to support the main card. We actually spoke about this on our podcast, the Infinite Snap podcast. A friend of mine, my co-host Tom, literally said, similar to like Marvel Champions, where you have support cards. He pretty much exactly said this. I wonder if you'd actually seen this. I don't think he had. When this card is destroyed, add Spider-Man to your hand. So like a support. I think he said something like, you know, you play Uncle Ben and it buffs Spider-Man. But I mean, this is a very similar sort of interaction. So, I mean, a 1 power card, a 1 cost card for 2 power is pretty common. So that, I don't find any issue with that. And then adding Spider-Man to your hand, I mean, it guarantees you that you get it in your hand. You're probably like, with how low the hand sizes are, you're probably going to draw into Spider-Man anyway. So I don't know how useful this card is. Really cool artwork though. And Spider-Man's a pretty decent card, I guess. Stopping your opponent from playing cards, that can be great turn 5 play. I think we'll give Uncle Ben like a 2 out of 5. I think just guaranteeing Spider-Man in your hand is pretty cool. But again, you're probably going to draw into it anyway. And it's a very niche card, only working with Spider-Man. So we'll give it a 2 out of 5, unfortunately, Uncle Ben. Next up, we have Valkyrie. This is a 5 energy card, 3 power. On reveal, set all cards at this location to 3 power. Now, I actually think that's a pretty cool ability. I think of like, you know, if your opponent fills a location with some strong cards, setting them all to 3 could be pretty useful. And then turn 6, you play your big end game card at that location, especially if they've filled the location with 4 cards, turning them all to 3 power and then basically, I guess, ruining their game plan at their location. You wouldn't even need to play a powerful card there. If you all have 3 power there now and you've got 1 slot free, as long as you can get 4 power in there, you can win that location, assuming there's no buff shenanigans. It's a pretty cool interaction. I do like the card, actually. I guess it can kind of stop your opponent from winning a location with big cards. It can kind of just shut that down. Yeah, I actually don't mind this card. I can see it being played, especially in like a control style deck, just like shutting down that well, not even shutting down, you're just forcing that location to be a losing location on turn 5. Like, I guess it's pretty consistent too, as long as they fill the location. And, you know, there's locations and stuff that can, you know, add cards to that location, which could essentially fill it up. Yeah, it's a pretty cool card. I actually like it. I'd probably give that a 4 out of 5. I think the ability is really cool. The artwork's really nice as well. Yeah, I could see like plenty of use cases for Valkyrie. So 4 out of 5. Next up, we have War Machine. That is some amazing frame break artwork there. That's actually insane. That's so cool. We've got 4 energy and a 5 power card. Ongoing, your 1 cost cards have +1 power. Okay, so this is kind of like, I guess, like a Kazaa kind of buff. That's interesting. So ongoing, your 1 cost cards have +1 power. Yeah, so it's very much like a similar ability to Kazaa, if not exactly the same. I'm just trying to think the wording of Kazaa. Let's actually check it out. I'm going to check out the wording of Kazaa. It's been a while since I've actually used that card. I'm pretty sure it's like exactly the same. Your 1 cost cards have +1 power. Yeah, it's like the exact same ability. I would assume that ability is probably going to change. I'd say that was probably a very early sort of ability that they've put on that card. I wouldn't be surprised if that is, well, no, I definitely believe that would be a completely different ability. I guess it's kind of hard to judge what the card actually does. I highly doubt they'd make just the same card at a different cost. Probably a very early Datamined leak of that card. So I think we'll probably just, I can almost guarantee that's not going to be the ability. So we'll just skip over War Machine. But artwork, 5 out of 5. That is freaking awesome. Next up, we have Yoyo. When this card moves, move it back with +1 power. Interesting ability. It's a 1 cost, 2 power card. When this card moves, move it back with +1 power. So I guess Yoyo makes sense. I'm just thinking, like, if it's at 2, if you got it to like even with Hulkbuster and stuff, it's not doubling. So moving it back with +1 power is just really seems really weak. I guess it is only a 1 cost card, but I mean, how many times are you going to be able to move it? Maybe 3, 4 times a game. So you might get this to like 5, 6 power, which is like it's fine. It's pretty good for a yeah. Actually, I guess even if you move this 2 or 3 times, it's pretty good for a 1 cost card. We really need to think about the cost of the card. I'm thinking of other things, although I think of things like Human Torch, and you can get that much higher than that pretty quickly. So maybe not that great. I guess it would work only really in a move deck. So I'm going to give Yoyo like a 2 out of 5. Can't see it being like crazy good or anything. Next up, we have Zabu. This is a 5 power card, 5 energy card, 7 power. It's pretty beefy. If this is in your hand when you discard a card, put that card back and discard this instead. That's a very interesting ability. If it's in your hand and you discard a card, you put this back and discard. Sorry, you put it back and discard this instead. I'm trying to think of synergies. I guess if you discarded something like Wolverine, it would play it and you would also get another one in your hand, which is kind of cool. You could discard it again, play it to the field. I guess I'm just trying to think. I guess if this is in your hand when you discard a card, put that card back and discard this instead. I guess, of course, in like a Hella deck, I guess you would discard a card. I'm assuming it would count as being discarded. And then you would also discard Zabu. So then both of those would be able to come back with Hella. If that is how that interaction works, which by the wording is, that's pretty insane. I guess even if you're only getting the Zabu discard, that's pretty cool. Especially if you've got cards in hand that have abilities when they're discarded. I actually really like the design of this card. The artwork is really, really cool. Those green eyes, that's insane. Frame break artwork there. I actually like this card. I think there'd be some cool synergies. Hella like is the first thing that comes to mind. Just getting a 7 power out for free is pretty cool. Yeah, very, very interesting card. Like the artwork. I'm probably going to give this... I want to give it like a 3.5 out of 5. It's pretty good. It's a cool card. It's good power as well. Even if you just end up playing this, it's not the worst thing in the world either. But yeah, you definitely want to be using that ability to discard Zabu and then bring it back with something. I guess you can even bring it back with like Ghost Rider. So there's some cool synergies there. I think overall pretty decent card. And we'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Guys, that is actually all the Datamined cards I have right now. I'll definitely be checking Reddit and checking the forums to see if we've got anything else. We'll definitely maybe check out some Datamined locations. I had a really funny interaction just before the patch. I didn't update my game and I ended up seeing some locations that I don't think we were meant to yet. The Nexus was was my featured location. But when I found out that wasn't the actual featured location, I realized my game hadn't updated it and it went away. So the Nexus was really cool. It was basically all the cards you played there, that power was added to the other locations. There was some insane like combos with like Iron Man, Onslaught, and just getting like 100 power at a location, and then it would be being copied to the others. So it'll be interesting to see when that location like officially launches. I don't know if I ended up in like a test server or what happened, but it was pretty insane. So maybe we'll check out some Datamined locations if we can. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Marvel Snap content. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.